What's up, all my Giz homies? It's GizTube. I'm Dirt.
And I'm Nadia.
This is Nadia. We're going through all of King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizards 2024 North American Tour and giving you our thoughts, our reviews, and our show superlatives. Today, we are on their show from August 27th in
Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the city of brotherly love.
The Tush Push. Also known.
Yes.
And the Super Bowl winners. I guess congrats, Philly. Now
They didn't know that. They didn't know that at the time that this show happened.
Okay.
So.
Anyways, we got a special one tonight because this was the only show, I believe the only show on the tour that King Giz was not allowed to live stream on their YouTube. I don't know why Philly was so stingy. But anyways, thank you to the fans and also to the band for releasing the soundboard mix. We got to watch it and listen to it in its full quality. So we're going to give you our thoughts right here.
All right, let's start by pulling up the set list real quick.
There's a set list, and we're going to kick it over to our friend Amicus for a little set list breakdown from Philly. Amicus, take it away, bro.
Thank you, Dirt Nadia. We're going to do the Amicus set list breakdown for the Philadelphia show. We get Minimum Brain Size, followed by Doom City, then Static Electricity, followed by a bust out of East West Link, 78 show gap since we last heard the boys play that one live. Then we get a juicy Daily Blues that goes into Hot Water with some Grow Wings and Fly teases with new lyrics never heard before this night. Then we get some more new songs off the album Flight B741. We get Antarctica, Sad Pilot, and Le Risque. After this, the boys go into The River. This is one of the longest versions of The River, possibly ever, and it's a nice mix of the Chicago 23 River, the Red Rocks 22 River, and there's a little disco at the end. It's juicy, baby. We then get a Mind Fuzz suite, and then we get to some metal. They do Planet B, Dragon, and Flamethrower. To end the night, they bring in Nathan, the table out, and they do the live debut of Gilgamesh, and close the set out with Set. So good, I pissed myself. Back to you, Dirt Nadia.
Thank you for that setlist breakdown. This was a pretty awesome show, Nadia.
I mean, man, of all the ones for them not to be able to stream, this was a big, how do you even pick? They're all great. But this was, woo, mwah,
It felt like the band was also feeling this one. I don't know what the vibe was in Philly, but if you were there, let us know. It felt like the boys were feeling it on this one, so I'm glad that we got to watch at a later time. But we're going to get into our show superlatives, starting with the top songs. Nadia, what would you say were your top songs from this Philly show?
All right, as you know, we do a top three because the top one is impossible. No particular order. These are just honestly in order that they played them. First, I've got Static Electricity. Dang, that was a good Static Electricity. Woo! That song is always better live. It's definitely one when you hear it on the album, you're like, yeah, pretty good. You hear it live, whoa. So Static Electricity. The River. Can we talk about this? This was what, like
we'll talk about it.
A 28-minute long river or something like that?
I think according to the Bandcamp, it was clocked in at 25 and a half minutes of musical time playing.
Yeah, crazy. It was just, that river took me places. And lastly, Set, the closer that they did. Slay the Mighty Set. They slayed it. Joey on the guitar, I loved it. I love when they combine the guitar with the table. I think that's just such a cool and unique combination. So Set's got my last one. Dirt Set was 15 minutes, 59 seconds. I don't know how much of that is music, but that's what it's listed as.
Yeah, music. Give it up for music. Well, Nadia, in the future, I'm going to need you to put them in order of which one you think is actually the best song from the show and not just
that's asking too much.
The order they came. Because I put them in what I thought was the best. Not just how the order they were played, but we did have some crossovers. Top song was The River. I think we'll talk about this one more, so I'm just going to say The River was my top song. 25 and a half minute River. Next up, I also had Static Electricity. Not quite a bust out, but you don't hear this one that often. And man, like you said, it slaps live. And then third, this was a hard one. I had some different stuff in there, but I ended up going with Daily Blues. And then how they led that into Hot Water. The transition. So Daily Blues and then the transition into Hot Water. Not Hot Water, though. Just Daily Blues into Hot Water. Those were my top songs from this Philly show.
All right.
Next up, we have the pee song. What song are you going pee during, Nadia?
Whew. Hard once again because this was such a banging set list. So you know what? I chose Antarctica just because at this point in the tour they've already played it, a decent amount of times, and so I'm like envisioning myself being on tour with them and like actually going to all the shows. So I was like, I've heard this one, and just based on the set list, it's probably when I'd have to pee anyways. So,
but it's Cookie.
But it's the place for me.
Cookie.
I know.
So you're gonna go pee down in Antarctica, or
yes.
just during Antarctica? Okay.
Yeah.
Your pee might
Both.
freeze. Anyways, my pee song right after Static Electricity, and this was a bust out, but the East-West Link.
Why would you go pee during a bust out?
I think the energy from Static Electricity would have left me wanting to like take a breather and go pee and then maybe grab another beer before the set really starts ramping up. And I thought East-West Link would provide that for me. So that was my pee song. Some others might say that Set was a good song to pee during, but that's not our opinion. Moving on, we have the best moment from the Philly show. What would you say was the best moment?
Oh man, I mean, I've got lots of random banter, but this was a unique moment, I thought. And it was kind of like not really, they didn't really, like make it a big deal, but they could have. Sometime during Cellophane, the fire alarm went off. You can see it. You can see on the wall the fire alarm like flashing. And you kind of see like Ambi and Stu like kind of just like looking around, like they notice it for sure. But this is just how great and how professional this band is. Honestly, didn't affect the song, didn't affect the set at all. They just kept going, and I guess problem solved. They put that fire out. I don't know, because like I said, they didn't make a big deal out of it. But I just thought that was a really unique moment that I don't know if I've seen happen at a Gish show.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, luckily that no one had to evacuate.
Yeah.
But I fully expect King Gizzard to release their next album to the ticking or the alarm of a fire alarm going off now. That's probably, they'll just like
Song
take that and transition it into a new album. I'm going to be kind of short here, but my best moment was just the river. All of it. I mean, it's 25 minutes. There's banter. There's jam segments.
They teased Gilgamesh during the river. Like that is so dope. I never thought that would happen.
Yeah, it made Stu like feel like he was on acid again. And I guess Ambi spiked his drink. Anyways, yeah. So my best moment was just the river, which becomes also like it's like a bell curve in the show. It's right in the middle, 25 minutes long. It feels like everything before that leads to that moment, and everything after kind of like is the resolution to that. So. That's my best moment. The river, longest one I've heard this tour.
Longest river you've seen.
Longest river. Okay, next up, we have the best banter of the night. Man, the guys up on stage were feeling it tonight. I don't know if it was the beer or the alcohol, or they were just feeling the good vibes, but they were chatting a lot. Nadia, what would you say was your best banter from the night?
My best banter, I loved when Ambi was talking about the last time they played in Philly, or I don't know if it was the last time, but a previous time when apparently they played at this really small show. And he says, remember, that was the time I clogged the toilet before the show. And Joey's like, are you talking about every time before a show? And Ambi was like, no, I got better control of my bowels now. I thought that was funny. That was my favorite banter of the night. Just the way they can be so quick-witted with each other. Like, you can tell these guys are best friends. That's part of what makes their magic on stage happen.
Yeah, honestly. They had this whole segment after Antarctica where Stu was like, it's story time. And he proceeds to tell the story of how they get nervous playing in front of crowds that are seated. So yeah, if you were at Philly, was it seated? But to chain off of yours, my favorite moment, they keep going with how Ambi has like historically clogged the toilets or whatever. About sometime they were like in South America, and Joey, my favorite line goes, man, Ambi, you really have matured since you got food poisoning in South America.
You really have matured since you got food poisoning in South America. Yeah, that's crazy.
And yeah, that was it. Just the one-liner right there. So that was great.
It's a great one-liner.
Yeah, also special shout-out to when Cav sings about his tiny prick and Ambi goes, teeny tiny, from the side. So that's our best banter, but honestly, this whole show is full of some great banter. So listen to it all. Next up, we have the best dressed from the band. Who you got as the best dressed?
Best dressed of the night in Philly, I gotta give it to Stu. Even Joey is calling Stu out on his outfit. He calls it a singlet. And he said that Stu has been wearing that singlet for about 2.5 weeks.
Wow.
So I gotta hand it to Stu. That's impressive to be able to rock such a simple outfit for 2.5 weeks and be a rock star on stage.
Yeah,
I mean,
Joey calls it out and also says that it smells crazy. But Stu's still wearing it and he's rocking up there. I had my best dress with Joey. With the jorts, man. The jorts and the tank top or the singlet, I guess as we'll call it. And, you know, he's just rocking those star vibes up there. So, yeah, giving it to Joey with the jorts.
Joey with the jorts. Wow.
Joey on the jorts. Okay, next up, we have the segment of What is Cookie Drinking?
Woo, woo, woo!
So irrelevant.
Now this one was a little bit hard. Cookie went through several different beverages, starting with a brown bottle.
Mysterious
that we
brown
believe
bottle.
is Bud Light. But based on the fan footage we watched, it was very hard to tell. But we're going to call it Bud Light. But
Never got to see a label. It was a mysterious brown bottle.
And then later in the show, we see a golden can.
Which one can only come to the conclusion that golden can is none other than Pacifica.
Yeah, based on our previous shows and previous GizTubes, we know that Cookie likes pretty much either Bud Light or Pacifico, so we're saying he drank both of them tonight.
Cookie, if you're watching, let us know. Are we right?
I think he's right.
Comment.
Yeah, comment, Cookie. Cookie, comment. Comment, Cookie. Okay, next up we have the MVP of the night, most valuable player. Who would you give it to, Nadia?
My most valuable player of the night, I'm giving it to the Flying Microtonal Banana. They started this set with a few...
The guitar.
Yes, a few microtonal songs. And yeah, the Flying Microtonal Banana sounded great. I feel like they all slapped. Microtonal to me is like incredible live. So I'm going to give it to that cute yellow guitar with the microtones.
Wow, I like it. Now, you already mentioned my MVP, but I am giving it to Stu for the reason that he basically has been wearing the same shirt for the last 2.5 weeks. Singlets.
Yes.
And I think that is MVP worthy.
Okay.
I think that is...
Not doing laundry is MVP
He's purely
worthy.
focused on performing, not on what he's wearing. So, Stu, you're the real MVP, man. It's probably got to smell bad to you the most, so... And then Joey next, I guess, because he's right beside you. Okay, next up, we have the overall ranking of the show.
All right, so we did get a premiere from this set list. We did get the first time they've ever played Gilgamesh. So I'm going to give this show, I mean, this is insane, because y'all know how big a Gilgamesh is, right? I'm going to give them 4 Gilgamesh. 4. Not 1, not 2, not 3.
I don't even know what that means.
But 4 Gilgamesh. Okay, if you don't know what it means it's just an insane amount that you can't even comprehend.
At least it wasn't 3 Gilgamesh.
Yeah, I know. Not 3, but 4.
Oh, wow. So that is a pretty crazy rating. According to KGLW.net, the fans gave this one a 4.55. We still don't know what number that is out of. I can only guess that it's 4.55 Gilgameshes, like you said. So they gave you the higher Gilgameshes than you did.
That's crazy.
Okay, well, for my overall show ranking, I did love the microtonal opening. There's some awesome microtonal songs too. Doom City, Minimum Brain Size. You got a Dragon. You got a 25-minute The River in there. You got a 15-minute set to close it out. Like, it was insane. I give this one... for a special guest that was in the audience, an Ocho Cinco. Do you know that number? It's Spanish. Anyways, yeah, Ocho Cinco for our boy Chad Ocho Cinco, who put out this tweet before the show that he was going there with Bill Belichick. If you don't know those names, then I guess you don't like NFL football.
Wow, we referenced the NFL a lot in this episode.
Well,
the most we ever have.
Come on, Philly won the Super Bowl, and then Bill Belichick and Chad Ochocinco are going to see King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. You got to reference them. All right, well, that is our show ranking for the Philadelphia show. What do you think? Were you there? Were you one of the people filming that we got to watch their phone footage
if
with
you were at Philly,
studio board mix?
Like, give us all the deets. Like, this was such an exclusive show.
Yeah, the most exclusive of the whole tour. You couldn't even watch it live as it happened. I had to be refreshing Setlist FM the whole time to see what they were playing. Did you run into Bill Belichick or Chad Ochocinco? Anyways, let us know in the comments below. Thank you for watching GizTube. We'll be back for their next show soon.
Peace out.